Good morning everyone, welcome to the Cleveland Bed and Breakfast in Torquay for the third instalment of cooking Sunday breakfast with us at the Cleveland. We're going to get straight into it this morning because there's lots to do. We are going to cook, what are we cooking? We're cooking eggs Benedict.
You nutter.
Oh dear, we're cooking eggs Benedict, and I'll explain more as we go along because there's a period of time when there's not a lot to do. So I've got time to talk then. So first of all, we're going to put the bacon under the grill. Our beautiful, slightly smoked back bacon from Lloyd Maunders of St Mary Church, fabulous butchers where we get our sausages from as well. A couple of things I've already done this morning. I have melted a 250 gram pack of butter and left it to cool. So that you need to do in advance. So that's melted and left to cool. And the other thing I've done is created the vinegar mix ready to make the hollandaise sauce. So this is 4 tablespoons of cold water and 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar with a few peppercorns into a pan and then reduce it by half. So bring it up to the boil and reduce it down by half. Basically what you're doing is A, infusing the peppercorns, and B, creating a more intense vinegar liquid ready to make the hollandaise. So we've done all that in advance, and again this has got to be cold because otherwise if you put the egg yolks into this and it's hot, you'll scramble the egg yolks. So bring that to the boil, reduce it by half, and then just leave it to the side until it's gone cold. So into a large mixing bowl we are going to strain the vinegar and water mixture just to get those peppercorns out. And what we're going to do, what you need is a large enough saucepan with some boiling water in it, just on a simmer, just so that the bowl will sit on the top of the saucepan without touching the water, and that's very important. What you want is a gentle, even heat across the bottom of the bowl. What you don't want is the bowl touching the water and the bowl bottom getting too hot because that will scramble the eggs as well. So, into the vinegar mixture we are going to put 4 egg yolks. So quite easy measurements to remember. So 4 tablespoons of cold water, 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar, reduce it, and then 4 egg yolks. And I just broke them earlier to save me a bit of time as well. So we're now going to set this over the pan of simmering water. You've obviously got to make sure the bowl's either glass or metal, not plastic, because plastic obviously won't conduct the heat. But it's very important, it's a gentle low heat, and you've got to continuously whisk this now, which is obviously the bit where I'm going to have a lot of time to start talking to you guys now. It can take up to 10 minutes. And if this goes on too long, we may well just stop the video and then come back to you when it's done.
I think there might be a bit of clever editing going on somewhere along the lines. Not like Blue Peter where you have one made earlier, is it? Hey?
No, we thought we did discuss whether to have one made earlier, but we actually decided we'd show you how to make it instead. So, we're just going to continue to whisk this over the pan of hot water. So basically what you're doing is slowly cooking the egg yolk. But you're doing it in a gentle fashion, and what will happen is the egg yolk and vinegar will cream together and thicken, and you'll basically be able to tell when it's done because you can create ribbons when you're whisking through the mixture. It's almost like making a meringue, I suppose, in a way, but you're not getting it to that stiff peak consistency. It's just a lighter consistency. So, bacon's cooking the grill, we're getting on with the hollandaise. Week 6, just coming to the end of week 6 of lockdown. 7 weeks now for us with no guests. 6 weeks of having the kids at home.
6 weeks of drinking too much because we've got the kids at home.
Hence why I'm looking a bit jaded this morning. Big shout out to our friends Kate, Lee and Zach, who we were on a very long call with last night. And hence why quite a lot of alcohol was consumed as well. So a big shout out to you guys. They watch this video every week. They were the ones last week who didn't have eggs at home to be able to cook scrambled eggs, which obviously helps. So they've made sure they've got eggs at home this week to be able to make this. So yeah, you know, the weather's obviously changed this week, so we've been indoors a lot more. Thomas has done quite a lot of baking. He's baked a beautiful cake this week, called a Queen of Puddings cake, but it was really lovely, light sponge with jam on the top and then meringue. Very, very nice indeed. And the other thing that Lisanne's been doing this week as well is making muffins. So she's been experimenting with a English breakfast muffin recipe. They are absolutely delicious. That was Archie just run past in the background. So we're going to use those as well. So what's the idea behind doing Eggs Benedict? Because it's not something that we actually do on the menu at the moment. But Lisanne and I have been discussing this week ways of maybe enhancing the breakfast that we do even more, and discussing whether we should have specials on maybe at the weekends and during the busier season periods as well, just to bring a bit more variety to the menu. And one of the things we've been discussing is obviously having Eggs Benedict, which is generally a very popular thing to have. So that's why we're doing that today, and we'd obviously thought we'd show you how to make it as well. So as you can see, it is quite time consuming. It's basically just making sure that you're continuously whisking this, that the whisk is touching the bottom of the bowl so that the eggs aren't on the bottom of the bowl and cooking too much, because otherwise you will just end up with scrambled egg. So I think we'll cut away now and then come back in a few minutes once this is ready to go to the next stage. Back everyone. So that took about 4 minutes, I guess. I also turned down the heat a little bit as well because I just felt that the eggs were cooking a bit too quickly. But now, as you can see, when you run the whisk through the eggs and vinegar mixture, you can actually see the trail behind it now, and that's exactly what you want. So, turn the heat right down, and then what we're going to do is just very slowly whisk in, a little bit at a time, the melted butter. It's important that you do this a little bit at a time, otherwise it will split if you just try to pour it all in one go. Now, with the best will in the world, even the best chef will split an egg sauce every now and again. I may well even do it while we're on the camera at the moment.
No, you won't.
So what do you do if that happens? Well, the first thing you can try is to put a couple of drops of boiling water into the mix and whisk it in and see if that helps to bring it back together. If it doesn't, whisk up another egg yolk on its own and then gradually beat in the split mixture into that egg, and that should bring the sauce back together. But in an ideal world, if you pour this in slowly, it won't split and you'll end up with a beautiful hollandaise sauce. So we're just very, very slowly, gradually mixing this in.
Just so you know as well, the bacon isn't burnt. We have taken it out of the oven, so it's here ready waiting. We split the muffins that I made yesterday, ready for today. So they're going to go into the grill shortly. And then back to the hollandaise again.
You'll find as you get more and more of the butter in, you can put it in a little bit more at a time. It's not dissimilar to making mayonnaise. The other thing as well with making a hollandaise is it's obviously a great base for different sauces, one of them being béarnaise sauce for a steak. So if you put a couple of tarragon stalks in with the vinegar and water mixture when you're reducing it, as well as the peppercorns, and then when you get to the end of making the basic sauce, you just add chopped tarragon through it as well, and you've got a beautiful béarnaise sauce for steak, which is one of my favourites. Clearly, with the amount of butter in this is not a healthy option for breakfast.
Who cares about that?
I may well have to add a drop of water into this once I've finished it as well, just to thin it down slightly, which you may well have to do. It depends how fast the egg's cooking.
you have to use all the butter in it?
Yes, you do have to use all the butter in it, because basically the mixture you've made, 4 egg yolks and the measurement of vinegar and water, will take 250 grams of butter. So I'm going to take that off the heat completely now. And that little bit of water from the butter at the end has just done exactly what I said, so it's just thinned it down enough now. And there we go, beautiful hollandaise sauce made, ready for our eggs Benedict. So we're going to set that to one side. That's finished with. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get the muffins under the grill so that they toast. We'll just do that quickly now. And Zanny's going to keep an eye on those over my shoulder while I poach the eggs. So just going back to our first breakfast with us a couple of weeks ago, pan of boiling water, 4 capfuls of white vinegar or distilled vinegar, eggs into a shallow dish, and then we're just going to very gently drop them into the water. And I'm going to do another 2 now as well, so there's enough for both of us to have breakfast. Any more than 4 eggs, you would need a bigger pan, but 4 eggs will sit into a pan like this perfectly. Okay, so there we go, they're in and cooking. Do you want to just zoom into the pan, darling, so they can see yolks perfectly inside the whites, just very, very gently cooking on a medium heat. So that's those, lovely. Muffins are grilling nicely under there. Hope you're all well and keeping safe. We're obviously expecting some more news this week about what's happening with regards to releasing some of the lockdown. Yeah, hopefully some news for us as to when we potentially may well be able to open again and welcome you guys.
Not too soon, hopefully. I'm stuck here on my own with Matt and the kids. Come and save me, please.
Oh dear. So I'm just going to stick the bacon back under the grill as well, just for 30 seconds, just to warm it up again. That goes in there. The muffins have toasted beautifully, so I'm just going to turn those over. By the time I've buttered those, the eggs will be done. So, obviously quite a technical dish to produce, but you know, give it a go at home if you want to, or if not, just hang on until you can come back to the Cleveland, and we'll cook it for you and you can enjoy it here instead. Yeah, that's about it really. We're just going to start serving up now. So let's take the muffins out of the grill. Smell amazing. Butter 2 of those ready now. Like that. And then we're going to sit a couple of rashers of our beautiful smoked bacon onto there. You can obviously use ham as well, but as we're cooking this for breakfast, we thought we'd utilise.
And we have got an excess of bacon going on because we don't have any guests to serve it to.
We thought we'd use our beautiful British bacon. Just give that hollandaise a little quick mix up. Right, let's check these eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Just plate up 2 for now. So that's the eggs. And then we're going to spoon some of this beautiful hollandaise sauce over the top. And there you have it. Eggs Benedict, cooked with us on Sunday morning
Oh.
at the Cleveland Bed and Breakfast in Torquay. Turn of pepper, and as always, I would just cut into that so you can see how beautifully cooked that is. Lovely smoked bacon, beautiful hollandaise sauce. What more could you ask for on this Sunday morning?
Me.
Ah, look.
Oh, where am I?
She thought she'd turned the camera around and she hadn't. Hang on a minute.
Hello everybody, just thought I'd say hello. You get to see Matt every week and, you know, too much of a good thing. So, hello from me, stay safe, keep well, and we'll see you all very soon.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.